Riptide, you're gonna go last when we announce ourselves.
And we should be good.
Let me see. Wait for it to pop up. Should get a ping in the Discord. What's up? It's always funky how the starts are. They take a good second.
Go.
We're live.
Yep, it just came up on my phone.
I'm not seeing it yet. Come on.
I'm watching it.
Has it made a post to Discord?
Not yet.
Come on, Discord.
Share it off of a.
Oh, there it is. Took it a second.
I need to find mine.
All right, cool. With that being said, good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Briefing Room 13th ME podcast, hosted by your lovely command staff. I am Captain Takeda Hideyoshi, the company commander and Apollo platoon leader.
I am Captain Dubs, the CO of Tuma.
I'm Second Lieutenant Soccer, XO of Tuma.
I am Senior Chief White. I am in charge of Trauma Element.
I am Master Sergeant Ace, AEA.
I am Riptide, retired CO of Tumwa. I still assist the unit with S2, more of a consultancy role, but I'm still active somewhat and enjoy the community.
Hell yeah. What a start to tonight. Riptide, how are you doing since retirement?
I am hanging in there. I'm low-key missing it for sure. Definitely not done with the unit. Hoping to possibly get back into active status some point. I don't want to commit to a time frame, but it's most likely going to happen.
Oh yeah, man.
When that happens, Riptide, you are not coming to Corman.
Jeez.
I would leave the unit before I went to the corpsman.
Damn, you said you saw it. What?
All
with,
I heard was Riptide say he was a slacker.
Demoted. With that being said, though, fucking, what would you come back to? Would you keep talking through to, would you keep working with Tuma? Would you go somewhere else in the unit? What would you want to do, if or whenever you return?
Yeah, I'd go back to Tuma. I have a love of aviation. My dad and brother are both pilots. My brother keeps pestering me about getting my pilot's license. They just started a school at the local airport here in my town, which my brother manages, and it's doing really good. It's already had its first few graduates, I believe, and so I've always wanted to do it. I've just been waiting for the right time, and him getting this started is, I mean, that's neither here nor there. But yeah, definitely in Tuma. I just love being a support asset and doing all the aviation stuff, especially with some of the updates that we were just introducing as I was retiring, like Hatchet and a lot more capabilities that we didn't really utilize in Tuma or even know that we could do it. But then we started messing around with it. It's like, oh, hey, we can do some really cool stuff, like sling loading all sorts of crazy things, some really precise logistic drops for resupply boxes or vehicles, whatever ground or corpsmen need. But yeah, so that's what I'd be thinking of.
Hell yeah, man, for sure. Freaking yeah, I'm certain Tuma would be super uber excited to get you back into the work of everything, especially being, you used to, be the head of it for, oh my god, what was it, 2 years or damn near 2 years? Almost. Yeah. They're doing good though. I mean, Dubs is, I think he'd be proud. He's been pretty much steering the head of the ship for a good bit now. Soccer's coming up, doing his thing as XO, learning the ropes, putting his foot down on stuff, getting with deck comms. It's pretty good. It's pretty solid. What would you say, Dubs, you've seen changes, if any at all, when it came to Tuma since Riptide's left, in more specifically like in op stuff, mods or structure wise?
Let's see. I think right as Riptide was prepping to retire and step away for a while, we were in like the initial testing phase of implementing Hatchet. I think right after he left, we got really deep into the nitty-gritty of how Hatchet works and how we can implement it and how different it is from the ESSS MH60s we were using. So now it's our primary super. What else? Since Riptide has left, we have a lot. Well, I say a lot. It's comparative to what it was previously, but we have more fixed wing capable pilots. I think we're up to, out of the 11 members of Tuma, 7 of them now are fixed wing qualled.
Dang, right on.
An actual air wing fixed
Yeah.
side.
How many air assets on average do you send up in an op?
Last week
Or fixed wing assets, I should.
Last week we had 2.
Okay.
Assets in total, soccer, we had 5 up last week.
Yeah, it's usually about 5 or 6 per hop.
So yeah, we have a lot. We have more pilots in general, and then
Rip
manpower.
JTAGs.
Manpower, yeah, for real. Manpower, we're sitting at 11 out of our allotted 15. We've been sitting at 11 for probably about 3 weeks now.
Oh, that's awesome.
We have, let's see, we have 3 people. 3 people working on their gas stuff now. So hopefully, once the 2 new guys that are going through the gas stuff are spun up and ready to go, hopefully gas can have a more active role. So I know that's been a talking point for a while now. So we'll see what happens once those 2 guys are spun up. We have 2 people that are back in Tuma that are old heads Riptide from when we started. Goose and Woods.
Yeah, that's awesome. Really happy to see them come back.
Goose is doing good things. Woods was originally going to fly, and then he realized how rusty he was, so he elected to go the gas route.
Yeah,
So
that's fine.
he's in Tuma. He's doing something different than what he used to, or what he did before. Kind of getting the other side of it.
And I always loved gas. It was a really cool thing that it was fun to see from its birth what it morphed into, and I'm sure it's gone even beyond what I experienced in ops. The Zeuses were starting to really get a handle on how to utilize them effectively, and then they would just load up, and they were a well-greased machine from the start. I mean, we really drilled training with them. They loved it. They took right to it, and it was just so cool to, hey, whatever the operation was, whether it was dropping stuff off, picking something up, picking up an HVT, you just knew that going in and dropping them off, they were going to take command of the situation, get it done, and be super efficient about it. It was just a blast to watch.
Yeah, definitely. It's pretty much still in that phase where we left it off. Yeah, we're still in that implementation phase, kind of dialing in on it. But once these people are spun up, there'll be good stuff coming out of gas, or coming to gas, I should say, as far as stuff to do. So hopefully here in the next week or two, Woods and think it's Durin is the other one. We'll get spun up and they'll be good to go.
Yeah.
That's
I will
awesome.
say, I will say this: since Riptide left, my corpsmen have thrived. So
You
Riptide-
saying there's a correlation?
yeah, you quit scaring them off. So I can actually have corpsmen now.
I think you're right up there too. 11 out of 15 or 12 out of 15?
I'm at 14 altogether.
14.
And talk about growth, because Corman have seen it too.
Mm-hmm.
We just had a returnee today this afternoon.
It's kind of funny because that opens up another segue into and two issues were solved, but now another one has been created, as is the duality of Milsim and
The nature of the beast.
that as well, right? Which is the support sections are now in a very phenomenal position, like perfect. A lot of people, a lot of training, a lot of them are either returning old heads, learning the new ways and methods of the unit, or they're really excited moto guys that just want to like learn. And then you have the infantry who they're not hurting, but it's a struggle because now you have this overabundance of support, but there's not enough like on the ground people to give that support to, because the backbone of the entire unit is the infantry. Tuma has nothing to support if there's no infantry. Corpsmen have no one to heal if there's no infantry, right? Unless they're healing each other. Now suffice to say, we've averaged, I'd say, 14 infantrymen an op, which, with how we organize it, is about a squad's worth of guys and then some. That's not including like team leaders and stuff like that, which again isn't terrible because I mean you compare it to other Milsim units, they can't even pull 8 people, for their whole unit. So just differences of issues in growth. We're at that point now where it's like, damn, we only get 14 people. I'm still thankful for it, but infantry just need that. They need their share of the buff now, which is, that's not me saying we need to divert people from joining, Corpsmen or Tuma. That's just me stating we need to get down on our roots and get that backbone growing again, because there is a lot of growth for the infantry side right now in terms of like ranks and positions, and postings. Like there's still, in total from the platoon, there's like 9 team leader slots open. There's a squad leader slot open if Demon ever gets to that point again. Like there's a lot of growth. So we just need members of the unit or new people coming in, if any of them are watching, like just go and fill out those roles and those billets, because that would be sick.
Yeah, it's like with the amount of corpsmen we get now per op, I can do some ideas that I've been wanting to try out, like my response team of nothing. Like it's pretty much a fire team with nothing but corpsmen. That sole job is to respond to mass cases and to support the corpsmen that are with the infantry. I can actually try to do that now. Like I've been wanting to do that for a while. So yeah, it's really great with having this many corpsmen. But like you were saying, Cap, we need more infantry, or the corpsman's not going to have anything to do.
Now we just gotta worry about, because you have so many corpsmen, if I'm gonna start turning up the difficulty and giving you guys more stuff to do.
Well, it's like, with Cat Medical having that big update yesterday, I've still got to go through and test out the new stuff to see if we want to implement it. And so I got to get with Cyber for server settings and stuff to enable that stuff.
What changed?
There's a couple new devices. Like there's now Uh, let me get the actual wording for it. Uh, 1 second. They gave us sorry, it's like a Roboa or something like that.
A Raboa?
Yeah.
Oh,
So what it does is you do it through the surgery tab, and it's like a catheter that you put into the artery, and you pump it up, and it blows up like a balloon inside the artery, and it stops the bleeding from the chest cavity, in the chest cavity and the lower extremities.
So it's okay. So it's like a internal tourniquet?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And they also added an ultrasound equipment that will help us diagnose pneumothoraxes and other conditions easier and quicker.
Very cool.
Like Bison, he said he was messing around with it earlier today or yesterday or something, and he said he didn't know if we would want to implement it because it's kind of tricky to understand at first, but Keeper and I are going to get together here in the next week or two and redo the corpsman training guidebook yet again. And so this is would be the perfect time to implement new stuff as well.
So like when these, I guess, major updates happen, right? Do you guys do you redo Corpsman Quals, or do you just do like a refresher highlighting the changes?
It just depends on how big the change is. Like the last big change where they completely overhauled Cat Medical. I redid all everybody's Corpsman Qual because there was just so much new stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And the way things moved, I had to do with Tumal. But with something like this, where it's a big update, but we don't have to enable these settings. Like we don't have to enable this stuff.
Oh, okay.
So I have to go through and test it first. Unlike the last time where I didn't have a choice, we had to use those settings. So.
Gotcha.
But they also added a new ETCO2 monitor. The monitor the CO2.
Mm-hmm.
And they added fixes for the AT kit and fixed the IV models because they were kind of janky. And they also fixed a lot of bugs that we were coming across. Lidocaine wasn't removing pain during close reductions. They also fixed internal bleeding persisting after respawn, which was happening quite a bit.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
And the only way to fix that was to log out and log back in. And then apparently they've fixed the chemical warfare stuff for Cat Medical.
Oh jeez, not this again.
Which I don't think we are even thinking about it at the moment. And I don't know what Cyber's thinking, but I think we just need to hold off on that still because last time they fixed it, it wasn't a fix. So, but yeah, they've just they made a lot of improvements. They fixed a lot of bugs that was going on. they changed some of the painkiller stuff, but yeah. So
So it sounds like it was just like some adjustments and then a couple new things.
yeah, so it was a big update, but it wasn't a big update if that makes sense.
Gotcha.
Like,
Sounds fun.
I'm still reading through the change logs and all that stuff and figuring out stuff myself. So I got the next couple days off, so I have time to do it. But
There you go.
just like any other big patch and stuff, it just takes time and understanding.
Ain't that the truth?
So with that in mind, what did you, Riptide, did you hear about the last two ops that the unit has been through the past 2 weekends? Wake Island and Utez?
No, not really. I haven't heard really much since they left the desert.
Dubs, you might be the one that wants to tell them from like the 2-mob point of view of what happened with Wake, because it was pretty wild to start, I suppose.
So, just on initial, right out of the gate, we're thinking that a new ribbon or award is going to be designed for Tuma ship kills, naval kills. Because I think this campaign, this set of ops, there's going to be a heavier push on anti-ship warfare. So the F-18s are going to get some love with their Harpoon missiles. So,
Dang.
the Wake Island op was initially pushed as it was going to be another training night, with some more emphasis on amphibious assaults, amphibious landings. Give me 1 second.
But speaking about the ribbon Dubs, I don't think you should get it. You got too many ribbons as is.
Yeah, that's
Nah, man,
that's
I gotta
fair,
keep. I
'cause
gotta
you've
keep
got
that stack going.
So many fucking. It's ungodly how many ribbons you have. Like, honestly, fuck.
I think the
There's
only
so many ribbons.
at this point, the only ones I don't have are the ones that are geared toward infantry and lower enlisted. Because
You don't have white. You don't have White Lotus.
Yes, I do.
You do.
Yes,
Yep,
I gave it to him.
I got it. I got it the day that Riptide retired.
Yeah.
Said, you want
right.
to see something funny?
Huh?
He said, you want to see something funny? Just
Boom,
gives
got
us
it.
the best ribbon.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I think the only ones I really don't have are the ones that are geared towards infantry and lower enlisted stuff. Because even when I was lower enlisted, when I started, the ribbons didn't exist.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I wasn't. And when they got implemented, I wasn't about to go back and try and figure out what I did as a lower enlisted, because I didn't fly for probably Riptide 3-4 months.
On first joining, you're talking?
Yeah, because I think I made it to. I think I was a lance corporal when I finally transitioned to a warrant officer.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think so.
I think I have some clips deep down in the
archives.
Deep down in the metal archives that say Lance Corporal on them.
Dubs, you don't have a Purple Heart. Wow.
Oh, you know what? I don't. That's it.
It's pretty hard. I think it's pretty damn near impossible for Tuma to get a Purple Heart just with
I'll just.
You either survive or you die.
I'm gonna self-inflict it and crash right near some corpsmen and have them verify it. Call it a day.
There you go.
But the see thing with that, Dubs, is I had the final say on that.
Damn it. White, here's $20.
There it is.
Nope, sorry.
Damn.
$20 ain't enough. Make it 50, maybe I'll think about it.
Okay, very good. Yeah, so back to the Wake Island. So it was originally posed as a training night to have some more training on the amphibious landings and some other. I think it was like supposed to be. The initial training plan was amphibious landings and then like. I guess you could say jungle warfare, like warfare in heavily wooded areas. Just because we were going back to that, we haven't been in a wooded area since NAMF, which has been well over a year at this point. So, Tumwa specifically, Rotary was working on support stuff with infantry and fixed wing. So, well, myself. The initial tasking was to work on the harpoons, basically to see what their effective range was. So there were like some practice boats out there and stuff like that. Basically looking to see how far away you can engage with the harpoons, how far away, how high, up in the air, how low to the ground, stuff like that. Pretty much covering all the bases of the in ARMA terms, the operational envelope of harpoons. Fun fact, Riptide. Harpoons are effective out to 18 kilometers.
Holy shit.
Yeah. 18 kilometers. So, with the sensors, I was able to see the boats at 20 kilometers. And they have a lock-on time, so like just factoring in the speed at which I was flying, I started the lock-on at 18 clicks. I think I had weapon release at 15.
So pretty much Zeus's get on your radio net and be like, hey, don't shoot these boats until they pass this line.
Yeah, pretty much.
Because you can see them before they even fucking spawn them in at that point.
Yeah, and that's just looking at sensors. Like, I don't have my view distance set out that far. I can see them on sensor that they're there.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's actually absurd. Like, like watching it through Zeus, it's absurd.
All right, we're gonna give them a couple boats to deal with, and they're dead. Okay.
Pretty much.
Get back to the story, Dubs. You're losing track.
No, I was letting you guys finish your statements. So worked on our harpoons, and Veebs was flying around. He was helping out with the infantry stuff, and all of a sudden, in a total and complete panic, well, no, backtrack. On 60, command was like, hey, you know, such and such radio or radar is going down for reconfiguration. Okay, cool. So there's going to be no base-wide sensors. Well, base-wide long-range sensors. It was only going to be short-range. Okay, cool. Fine. Whatever. No biggie. About 10-15 minutes or so later, Veebs gets on 70 in a total and complete panic that he was getting locked on and then promptly shot down. So I'm like, huh? What? By what? So I turn and burn, because I was out over the ocean still doing harpoon stuff. So I turn and burn back towards the island, and as the island comes into view, all I see are just probably about 5 or 6 smoke trails coming out of our carrier fleet from their anti-air stuff on the boats. I was like, what the hell? Like, why are the ships flying? And then I see on the sensor that there was unknown radar contacts in the sky, because obviously Blue 4 shows up as green on the sensors, these were white. And I was like, that's strange. We're the only ones in the air. And then Yogi gets on and he's like, hey, confirmed red air in the sky, J-16s. I was like, oh, so it's fun time now. This ain't just a training. We're getting attacked. So I get on 60 because that night training commanders or section commanders had to be on 60. So I was talking to the JTACs and I was talking to command because not like command, not like Godfather sideshow Zeus's, but like there was interactions with actual like Lotus command or Apollo command going on 60 talking and whatnot. So I radio in to 60 that we have confirmed red air, moving to engage the whole 9 yards. And then after that, it was complete radio silence from command for about, what was it, Cap? Like 20 minutes, 15 minutes?
Yeah, 15 minutes. The role play was that the main comms section was hit from command. So they lost all contact to Zeus's. Everyone lost contact to Zeus for 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Well, all like, so ships were exploding, the ground was being bombed, infantry, havoc, like
the airfield was
everybody
being bombed.
Yeah.
So
literally we got Pearl Harbored.
It was just wave after wave after wave of red air of different types. J-16s, J-7s, I got
landing craft,
landing
two frigate
craft,
landing craft,
destroyers, like the whole 9 yards. The PLA sent out basically a hit squad to Wake Island. I think that entire 2 hours, 2.5 hours, I was in like the actual afterburner the whole time. Rip. The whole time.
Oh my gosh.
Like I had to, like I was doing combat rearms on the carrier. I was like, yeah, because you know how like when we would need to rearm, refuel that stuff, we would be like, hey Yogi, by the way, you know, hey, here in the next 5 minutes, I gotta go land and rearm, refuel. It was so chaotic that I used my powers as the head of Tuma and basically said, Yogi, I am landing. I'm not asking you, I am telling you, I am landing. So, I was doing like combat rearms off the carrier. Like I would land, hit the cable, engine off, AMS, reload, refuel, get back on the catapult, get back up in the air. I think that entire night I rearmed 4 times. Because I took a split load air to air, but it was heavy on the air to air. I think I had 4 harpoons and then the rest were missiles. No bombs, nothing, because they weren't necessarily needed at the time. So, but yeah, it was just squad. Like, I think in total it was probably about a squadron's worth of aircraft that got shot down between myself, the ships, and then about halfway through, Bravo Company sent up their F-18s. So there were AI F-18s in the sky also. And it was pretty wild. There was one point, it was out over pretty much open water. There was about 5-6 enemy aircraft that showed up, and I turned and burned. And then I had on my sensors behind me, I saw the green triangles pop up, and I'm like, oh, what are those? And I just looked behind me, and 4 F-18s, the AI F-18s, straight overhead. I was like, oh boy, it's a dogfight now. We're dogfighting the fucking PLA. It was so cool watching the AI F-18s engage and like legitimately dogfight the PLA. It was so cool to watch. I don't know if you saw any of it, Cap, in Zeus Cam.
Trust me, I saw.
Dude, it was so cool.
That sounds awesome.
And then at the end, I got shot down for the first time probably since the beginning of the year. Because the PLA sent out the J-20, which is their response to our F-22 and F-35. Like, there was nothing on the sensors, and then all of a sudden, boom, there it is. I was like, what the fuck? And then I got shot down.
Oh my gosh.
So, but yeah. So, training night turned into repelling borders on Wake Island.
Wow.
Yeah, half of Tumal was on as a fire team on the ground.
Oh yeah,
It's not
soccer.
always
Dude,
exciting
yeah,
in Tumor, but
dude,
when it
soccer.
is exciting,
Soccer from your POV, because him and I had two completely different experiences that night. So Soccer was working on rotary wing stuff, and they were using the rotary ring was using the rotary assets that were housed in Wake Island, not the ones off the carrier. So there were only a handful of supers, a handful of vandals. It got so bad for rotary because as soon as rotary went up, the fixed wing would the enemy fixed wing would immediately go for rotary. Like, they were just hunting down the rotary. And it got to the point...
Picking on us.
They were picking on you guys left and right. And it got to the point where they ran out of rotary assets. So whoever was flying rotary formed a fire team with the JTACs. So there was a JTAC 2 MAW fire team on the ground. And like,
wow.
It was pretty fun.
And I'll tell you what, like, 2MA doesn't have to go through the trainings that infantry does, like the CQBF, CQBA mount, stuff like that. I tell you what, I was watching Yogi's footage, his recording of stuff that happened on the ground after Soccer and them joined him. I'll tell you what, for not having done the trainings, that fire team, the 2MA guys on that fire team did a damn good job with CQB and mount. It was pretty awesome to watch.
I have to
That's
agree
awesome.
with that.
Watching it from the ground, it was really good. For people that don't do it as often or at all,
Yeah, like
they
me.
did really good.
Once or twice a year.
Yeah, it was like seeing Soccer on the ground threw me off for a second because we're running across the field and I hear Soccer's voice. I'm like, wait, is that Soccer on the ground? Wait, what the fuck?
What
You
happened?
get shot down? Damn.
All the
Yeah.
rotary's gone.
There's nowhere to run, like there's no terrain or anything to use on the wake, so it's like
Oh yeah, terrain masking is like
Is-
non-existent.
as soon as a missile's shot at you, you kind of just have to like hope and pray flares work. But I was like, 'cause you can't hide, they'll find you.
So we did the repelling borders were successful. That led into last week's op on Utez. It's a small little island. They had some known, there were some known AA sites that we had to deal with, and then some unknown ones that popped up. So there were
Oh, y'all.
Huh.
Show clips and pictures right now.
clips and pictures. There was a Lone. What the hell, dude? Really?
Wow.
You're watching the podcast in Minecraft? What the hell?
Oh, don't say
All right, word.
I'm sorry for
Oh,
cutting
my
you off.
man.
I just had
Dude,
to.
that's
Brutal.
hilarious.
That's a pin. That's fucking.
Talk about
hysterical.
dedication, brother.
He's like, I'm gonna
Next
listen
is a
to
whole
this
trend
and
of
play
like
my
watching
Minecraft.
podcasts on different devices. Okay, I've seen it happen before. Next, it's gonna be on fridges.
Do you
Oh,
play
Like,
Armor from
mul-
Within
like,
Minecraft? He said he
multiple
could.
different devices, a calculator.
What the fuck?
Jeez.
I've
Like,
seen
I
it
saw that one
before.
video of the dudes that built the actual, like,
Start the
working
trend.
computer in
Oh,
Minecraft.
and they were playing
Yeah.
Doom.
Yeah, they were playing Doom, and it wasn't just fucking Tetris. Like, it was bananas.
I seen one where they were
Put him
playing.
on a projector.
I was seeing one where they
That's fucking bonkers.
where they made a PC in Minecraft playing Minecraft.
Minecraftception.
Minecraftception.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Lone, if that ain't dedication, I don't know what is. Yeah, so that leads into UTES, known AA sites, long range radios, listening posts, radar, the whole 9 yards. So we got some pre-op strikes off on that one. That one was a wake-up call to how resilient the PLA's armor is and their assets. They are ridiculous. I dropped a bomb on an AA site, and it didn't destroy the AA site, but it blew up the plane that was next to it. Go ahead and figure that out. So yeah, AA sites had some more red air, not nearly as much because it was more like the red air was there. They had aircraft staged there, and as soon as they tried to take off, it it was game over. I had last week's op, I had Lemon up in the air. He did a really good job. It was his first time flying fixed wing for the unit last week. Hell of an op to do it on. So yeah, last week we had some red air to deal with, which, I mean, they were destroyed as soon as they left the airstrip because it was just such a small map. And then, what else did we have to deal with last week? Boats. Last week was the true employment and use of the harpoons with the boats that we faced. A couple of rotary got shot down because, again, it was a small island over open water. There's not really much terrain masking that you can do, so you kind of have to hope and pray that your countermeasures work and you can evade successfully. I'd say compared to Wake Island last week, I think last week was easier compared to Wake Island. Maybe some of the rotary guys may not agree with me, but I think compared to how Wake Island went last week was at least between the two easier than Wake Island.
Agree too on the rotary side of things. Wake was just hell. As soon as you get up in the air, you're getting pinged and shot at.
And then, I mean, who knows what's in store for this weekend coming up, because it's an even smaller island. So I'm excited to see what Cyber's putting together for the op this weekend. Because the only op that we kind of had an idea of what was going to happen was Wake Island, because Command was let in on, hey, just to let you know, it's not going to be just a training night. You guys might, with heavy emphasis on might, get attacked.
Yeah, the only people who were told was Command. No one else was told. So you just got a bunch of fucking annoyed infantry that are like, fuck, another training night. Because the weekend before was also a training night. So, like, everyone thought that, like, oh, okay, I guess we're training again. And all the shit hits the fan. And they're just like, what the fuck?
Yeah,
What is happening?
We knew we were gonna get attacked. We didn't know like when or how long into the official start of training it was gonna happen. So I figured, it was probably gonna be, I don't know, probably a half hour tops to get some, get some decent training in and then get attacked. No, it was like 10 minutes. Like, as quickly as I got up in the air and started working on testing out the harpoons, we got attacked. I was like, well, shit, okay. Yeah, Lone, it was Wake was nuts, Lone, for sure.
To those also who are curious, Cyber is not here right now because he is moving into his new place. So, in case anybody was curious about that, that's why he is not present right now. But yeah, Rip, that is what Wake was, and now you've got a couple of the infantry in the end who say the "Remember the Wake" or fucking shit because of just how stupidly intense it was. Speaking on the grounds perspective, while Dubs was in the air, infantry were training in a different area on the north side. Havoc with their vehicles were training on the south side. All of a sudden, massive formations of jets are flying over. Command goes calm, silent. Airfield starts blowing up. We have like new audio alarm systems in game, so you hear the fucking air raid sirens going off. Like, it was fucking surreal. And they, from a zoo side, they got their fucking shit pushed in because we had been warning everyone for a month that the Chinese are not these, like, in this universe, they're not pushovers, right? Like, they have like level 5, level 6 like body armor and like weapons that'll reach out and touch you. And I think the infantry alone that night lost, was it 7? They had 7 deaths, which is like,
no, yes, I think the kill count was 10, 7 ground,
3 Tuma.
3 Tuma.
Yeah. And now, mind you, for the last like 6 months, we hadn't gone like over 4 or 5 in forever. So like, they were just, the corpsmen were busy, man, on the ground, getting their shit pushed in. They had to call in Steel Rain to the north. We haven't heard Steel Rain in like a year, and they called it in that night because of how bad it was. And even the artillery hammering the Chinese in the jungle, there were still AI alive. Not like Zeus spawned in. They survived the bombardment. It was fucking crazy. And so now you have like this whole newfound like respect and anger for like the Chinese adversary, because like Karsten admitted, he was like, yeah, no one was taking it serious until people started getting their shit rocked and they were going down like left and right. So I think it was a good wake-up call with Wake. And then this past Saturday we had the island of Utez, which is where we were coming out to strike back the same regiment that had attacked us on Wake, and that was an amphibious assault. And what was our death count for Utez? Was it 15?
No, I think it was 12. 12 total. I can tell you here in a second.
Pull the attendance report.
I was going to the
no.
resource sheet.
Yeah,
16.
No, it was 16.
16. 10 ground. It was 10 ground, 6 Tuma.
We lost 2 Cobras in that assault. And I think Havoc's Vix went down 3 separate times from just the amount of AT they had. But yeah, Rip, the ops have been absolutely insane. At least the last 2. Because there was a big lull, big cool down, getting out of Takistan, all that stuff. And you're going from fighting a bunch of dudes in garbs, insurgency, to a full-on like near peer force. It's like night and day combat, because now you got to take the threat like seriously, and it doesn't matter if you're in a LAV or a Pander or in Abrams, like they will rock your shit.
Yeah, it's a whole different class of mission, like a whole different mind frame you have to put yourself in to be successful.
Yeah, we have.
If you go to pinned messages, Rip, and you if you look pinned messages and clips and pics, and you go to 728, that is like the start of just a shit ton of pictures from UTES. If you want to scroll through there and see what
The
it
ones
was
you
like.
posted on the 28th.
Yeah, 728, and then from 728, the first set, just scroll up to the very like top, where like you see the torment on the supply ships, and just scroll down. Those are all the images from UTES, that tiny little island. It was fucking nuts.
Oh, dude,
Yeah, that does
I'm
look
looking at
great.
this picture. I completely forgot. So, Lemon was loaded out for anti-ship. I was loaded out for CAS, and what we were doing was trading off. So each time we landed, we would land one after the other. We would employ everything and then land, and we would switch. We would hand off what our loadout was. So like, Lemon went up anti-ship, I went on CAS, and then we traded. I went on anti-ship, he went CAS, and we kept switching back and forth. There was a point, it was while Lemon was loaded out for anti-ship, he engaged the frigates that showed up, but the frigates also engaged him, because he said, hey, ship's in the water. I was like, okay, cool, Lemon, just get far away. You can engage from far as fuck. And as he was turning to put some distance between him and the ships, he got hit by one of the missiles that came off the ship, but it didn't destroy him. But he was on fire. Like the jet was on fire, and he gets on TAC 2 or TAC 1, whatever we were on, and he's like, hey, you think can I land can I catch the cable while I'm damaged? I was like, I mean, yeah, as long as it's still flying, yeah, you can catch the cable. He's like, okay, cool, I have to go back, I got hit. I was like, okay, cool, no problem. And he, a couple minutes later, he gets on the radio, just, information wise, like, hey, turn in for final on the carrier. So I was like, okay, cool. I get in my camera, right? And I look at the carrier and I see him. Not only is this motherfucker damaged, he was on fire. He was flying around with a jet that was on fire. He went to land, had to go around. He landed and caught the cable on his second attempt while the jet was actively on fire. I was like, Lemon, you're fucking nuts, dude.
That would be me once I join your.
Hey, whatever it takes to get the job done. Do
Tell
my
you
best,
what.
Ma.
Tell you what, it wasn't a lost asset, that's for sure, because he landed.
Damn straight. We don't lose assets in Tumor.
No, these past two ops we did.
Yeah, you know that.
It has been rough.
But yeah, so it's been a bonkers couple of weeks, and we have River and Lone in the chat basically confirming from the infantry side. Lone saying that PLA wears armor that takes 2 full mags to put him down. Lone getting
My
hit.
gosh.
River having his infantry input on Wake Island.
Need to go find a mod for armor-piercing ammo.
If my son joins, does he inherit Tumal like a prince? Yeah, sure, why not?
What?
Somebody said if Dubs' son joins, does he inherit Tumal like a prince? So I said, sure, why not?
Yeah. Yeah, why not?
Ah,
Sure.
yes, the greatest form of nepotism. Legit nepotism.
You know what?
Not
If
that you have your XO sitting in here listening to this, but yeah, sorry, Soccer. Yeah, you don't get XO of Tumor or CO of Tumor after this.
All gone.
Rapper and XO.
I mean, if the unit's around in 6 years, we can address that in 6 years.
That's actually crazy to think about. Shit, less time than that. If we're not in Arma 4, Cyber gets to eat a shoe.
Yeah, that's true. I think I might. Maybe in 2 years, I'll have Serenity join, and she can be a corpsman and just yell at people to stop fucking moving while she tries to treat them.
That
Oh,
would be
God.
fucking hysterical.
At that point,
yelled at
though,
by, I got yelled at by White. Well, I guess you fucking deserved it, huh? Like,
Yeah. You fucked up during op tonight. You're grounded.
dude, real NJPs, crazy.
um.
don't worry, Dubs. I'll give you a quarterly report on how she's doing.
Oh, very good.
Make it a report card.
Corman report card.
Just for her
Sounds
though.
What?
Yep.
Got bad grades?
No one else.
Sierra will take Serenity. There she go. There you go.
Straight F's?
Nope, she'll be my project.
Oh shit.
Yep. Get fucked.
But yeah, Riptide. That's pretty much at least from Tuma side of things. That's a recap of the last 2 weeks for the start of what is it? Pacific Reclamation.
Yeah.
Cap.
The Pacific Reclamation campaign.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and S5 has the story planned out for like a year. So we have the maps planned out. Not the specifics are planned out, but like we know what the maps are for the next year. We're hitting some like 15 to 20 maps. So, which is kind of fucking crazy to think about because we've been on Takistan for 9 months. Like 9 real months we were on Takistan in the desert, and everyone is sick of fucking desert camis. I think we had a new corpsman join, and he had asked like, when are we gonna like wear deserts or whatever, and so many people were like, shut the fuck up. We're not here for that nonsense, man. Fucking A. Oh goodness.
I don't mind
Uh,
doing desert stuff. It was just we did it for so long.
Dude, we were
Like
So
it
long.
wouldn't make any sense. But like how on Serrano we did like half the campaign. I mean, then again, it got cut short or whatever. We weren't gonna be in the deserts for that long, but it was like enough time to where it wasn't like, okay, I'm bored or I want to get out of the desert or whatever. Like it was a good enough time, you know. So it wasn't that bad on that campaign. We're in the deserts, and then we switched to the woodlands. But going forward, I don't know if we could do that again. Switch back and forth.
With that all being said, let's get into some questions. We spent a good hour kind of talking about the ops, a little bit of little updates from everybody for Rip. Let's get some questions, Dubs. What we got?
Yeah. How have the unit's tactics and strategies evolved over time?
Let's start bottom up. So, for Rip, from when you were in till now, what do you got on that one?
For tactics changing, right?
Yeah. How have the unit's tactics and strategies evolved over time?
I mean, it's just gotten a lot more focused and precise, it feels like. Like when I first joined, like not that it was haphazard or anything, like we had a clear direction of where we needed to go and what we needed to do, but it was more along the lines of that's pretty much what we did. It was like, okay, well, we've got these assets, so we're gonna take them over here and pretty much just let's get into the objectives figured out and do what needs done. And now we're drawing out battle plans, strategies, getting Tuma's assets strategically placed all around the map, getting any ground armor assets from what is it, Demon or Erebus? I don't know which unit it is now that uses them, but regardless, getting the ground armor guys set up so they have an awesome spot to provide overwatch for the ground guys. And then the communications has really tightened up. Yogi's did a phenomenal job with being the head of S6 and getting all of that on point. Like everybody's just communicating about everything now. It's quick, it's efficient, and everybody stays in the know of what's happened, how to quickly react if things go sideways or we get a curveball thrown at us. So yeah, it's gotten more complex, but it's gotten a lot more precise and efficient and focused too. So it's been awesome. I think.
Ace?
Did that answer your question?
Yeah. Yeah, when you're if you're done, you're good. Now we go up through
Yeah.
everybody.
Yeah. So, that's really hard to tell. So, I think I've been in for so long, everything kind of just changes gradually with no like seamless things. I wouldn't really say tactics have changed too much since I've joined. It's more of like they're on paper and they're being enforced a little bit more. So like the whole AIM C course, when I took it, when I was coming up through the pipeline, and keep in mind this was like over a year ago now. Over a year and a half ago now, actually. There I didn't have to do like learning the L-shaped ambush, learning the different squad movements and tactics, but we used that during ops and stuff, or at least I think we did. Some squads did, some squads didn't, but we also didn't have a platoon commander at the time to implement those. So yeah, but I'd say I can't really say for infantry. I just really don't know. But SOPs and stuff like trenches, King's Fall Protocol, I wrote that, and
Nice self plug.
it's just little protocols, little SOPs. I think that's what changed for the infantry. Different ways we implement different MOSs, stuff like that. That's a really tough question to answer. I mean, when you look at it, it's a game, and there's only so much you can do, you know. And also for like other people to understand. But I think what we have right now is good, and it's working. So I'm done.
Am I next?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, like I'll speak on Corman's side. It's over the last year, in my opinion, it's become completely different than when I took over. We had Corman assigned to certain fire teams, and now it's more what you'll see in the actual military when it comes to green side. The corpsmen have gotten better. We emphasize the training more, dig deeper, and we work on everything. Our death counts have been a lot lower since have gotten lower over the last year. Yeah, it's corpsmen have, in my opinion, have been completely revamped. And correct me if I'm wrong, Yoshi, but for me, in my opinion, it's for the better. Like Sluggo, Hyde, and all those guys, they did a great job when they were leading it, but they didn't have the experience of an actual corpsman. So
No, I think it's actually a really good place right now. The only thing I'd say to comment additional to it would be like the only reason why casualties are so much higher now. I 100% believe we would have hit 20 to 30 deaths a year ago fighting the Chinese versus now, you know. So I think with all the training and everything like that, some of those losses were inevitable, and even with those inevitable losses, it was the amount of work that you and the corpsmen have put in to adjust, and change over time is incredible.
Yeah, I'm done then.
Me?
That's you, Bubba.
Tuma stuff. Honestly, since I've been here, it I wouldn't say much has changed. I'd say we've added some stuff and we've streamlined the way we do some things. The biggest thing I'd say that is like changed is like our lock on after launch strikes. Um, it wasn't something that we did too often when I joined. But since I've been here, and we got that through with Yogi, and the comms guys, the lock on after launch strikes have been a huge help in the like lethality of Tuma. Trying to think. I mean hatchets, some that we've implemented to help like streamline stuff as well. It gives us more resources that the pilot can use, and you're not limited to having a co-pilot, because with the standard supers, if you don't have a co-pilot, you're pretty much screwed. You're gonna have to just sit there and hopefully somebody can get on, or if they don't, you're just in the helicopter. You can't operate the camera by yourself at all. I don't know if I'm missing something, but that's all I got. Maybe if Dub says something that jarred my mind, I'll say after Dubs is done.
Yeah. So, I guess looking at the state of Tuma, now versus when I joined, the first thing that really comes to mind is the assets that we use. It seemed like, at least from my perspective, because I didn't start flying right away, that I guess the standard assets were super. It was a super A10, F-18, F-35. Maybe there were Vandals in there. I honestly can't recall. Don't remember. But it was just like that was just the standard that we had. That's just what we used. After Riptide and I took over, we started branching out with different assets. Warhorse. Warhorse was in there too. We branched out, started exploring new assets and different ways to use them, looking into different munitions rather than just, your standard AIM-9, AIM-120, and like GBU-12s, we'll say. Looking into how we can use different systems that we have at our disposal, as far as like methods of employment. When I was taught how to fly fixed wing, the use of GPS guided bombs was never even a subject that was talked about. It was just, oh yeah, we use laser guided, laser guided. And I think between Riptide and myself, the two of us were more receptive to changing things up. Whereas, I went ahead and figured out how to use the GPS system and how how to set it up, how to mark your GPS targets, and then how to send them to the munition you want to use, and then use it. That added another essence of our operating procedures. We added more assets. We added an emphasis on, for a while there, drones were used a lot, especially in NAMP, dude. In NAMP, I used the drones a lot. Whether it was the Global Hawk just for like recon, or watching the battlefield, or even like the Reaper drone, or the what's the flying Dorito? The Sentinel. Those got some airtime in NAMF a lot. And then even introducing new non-Marine Corps airframes, because we had the A-10, we have the A-10 because A-10 go Burt, but like even coming up with the idea of like if we trade out an airframe, can we get this airframe? So like we got rid of the Little Bird because the Little Bird didn't have a use for us. Winter, I hope you're out there. Little Bird sucks. Nobody likes it. And we picked up the F-15 just because, I have a personal connection to the F-15. It was the first aircraft that I worked on when I joined the Air Force. And, I just love everything about it. So we have that, and then just how we adapted to different threats and how we had to adjust how we operated. Like in Serrano, when we were going up against, 4th and 4.5 and even some 5th gen fighters from the from Ion, they were attacking us in what was it, F-16s and F-22s. They were attacking us in, and then also the primary force there. They had their their MiGs and whatnot, but adding in adding in Ion, which is a PMC group, so who knows where they get their money and assets from. They were attacking us in F-16s and F-22s, like having to adjust to fighting an airframe that is on a similar scale as your own in terms of generation was something that we had to do. So like just the way Tuma operates is we make our changes when we face something that is a match to us. Another thing that was finally adapted and utilized was the AC-130. The entire time I was here, the AC-130... Oh, no, not the entire time. The AC-130 was added in back probably this time last year, in time for going to the desert. We had to learn how to use it because they're like, hey, there's going to be ops where the AC-130 can go up, and we want to see you use it. So, all right, cool. Let's learn how to use it. And, Veebs wrote the book on how to use the AC-130. Soccer standardized and wrote a document for the rotary qual because up until that point, we didn't have one. It was just kind of verbally agreed upon, like, hey, when you're doing rotary quals, they need to do X, Y, and Z. And, they'll be good. Until Soccer wrote that rotary qual guide, we didn't have one. So there was just a lot of things, especially on the administrative side, that got done and adapted and changed as time went on. Yosh.
Okay, remind me of the question, please.
How have the unit's tactics and strategies evolved over time?
So, speaking from CO perspective, top down, I'm gonna go not with my own tactics because mine really haven't changed. I consider my leadership to be very fluid in nature, especially in the combat space. What I'll talk about is people who have been in the like Apollo platoon leader and PSG position prior to. Um, the shift in tactics and understanding and implementation of the platoon is ever changing consistently based upon who it is. With Price, you had someone who was by the book, but a little too by the book. So anything and everything would fall back to one single, like, linear approach to an issue, whether that was an L ambush or a combat line, whatever it may be. It's not wrong, but sometimes it's impractical to be that by the book, and he couldn't adapt outside of that. He had no critical thinking or imagination of that sort. He had Cyber, who I think he was a pretty good PSG, a little lazy at times, but overall, I think his like combat implementation and the usage of his squads was also pretty fluid. And generally speaking, I think his leadership matches close up to mine in the field when it comes to when needing to adapt and make specific changes in combat. And then you had Mattis, who I wouldn't say was as fluid, but he also wasn't as strict. So he was kind of an in-between between Cyber and Price, which was a pretty good place. Sometimes there was some inconsistencies in terms of like adapting procedures with like JTACs and ROs. So there was a little disconnect there, so that caused some issues. But I think a lot of people, when they first come into it, don't really know how to work with JTACs or ROs. They don't see them as an extension of Tuma and like the weapon systems that they have available to them. And now you've got Carson, who so far he's been pretty good. I think his overall tactics implementations have been well. I think communication is something that has been a bigger issue recently with this element of leading, just simply due to one call is made and then someone else does another thing, and that fucks up the flow of combat. So in terms of how has like the unit's tactics and implementations changed, it's ever changing. It is a constant changing flow dependent on the mission type and parameters, which I think it's perfect. I don't think any unit, real or fake, should keep the same tactics for every situation. That's how you die. That's all I got.
Okay. Moving on. How do you address and mitigate member burnout?
Beat
Did
him
we
with
already
a
answer
stick.
this one?
I think we
Did
answered
we?
this one.
Was that last week?
I think
Yeah.
it was 2 or 3 weeks ago.
All right. Moving on. How do you encourage members to contribute to the unit, whether through mission design, mods, or other means?
Give money. Donate to S8.
Yeah, Cap is our Bernie Sanders. He just walks in every month or every few weeks. And it's like, I'm once again asking for donations.
Yes. Always. Never
But
stop.
for real, they really do help the unit, and keeps the server going.
And people helps members of the unit who find themselves in tight situations.
Exactly. We ever do giveaways or awards or little, hey, you got first place in drunk go-kart racing during GWI or something like that. So here's $10. Just little fun things like that that really help to bring some variety and spice of life.
Shit, the last GWI, Bandit
yes.
and Goose won, and they won a free pack of jerky.
Yeah, there
so
you go.
they both got shipped free bags. So then Bandit was like, "Fuck it, I'm gonna buy more and get a free bag, so I get 2 free bags." I was like, "Okay, yeah, whatever, man. Do what you gotta do."
That's how you do it.
I gotta make sure Goose has gotten his because I sent his out 3 weeks ago, and apparently he still hasn't gotten it.
I was gonna say, did we ever confirm if he got his?
I don't. If he still hasn't gotten it, I'm gonna ship his out with Spices because I can't ship anything out until like August, like 2nd, 3rd.
Yeah.
Just because of all the moving I'm doing, so I'll have to get that shipped out again. Hopefully the address is right and everything.
Yeah, like I was telling you earlier today, I passed some out at work, and you might get some orders from my job.
Yeah, just be careful because like I have 20 plus bags. I know. However, yeah, in terms of like
that's
making
it.
more, like that'll be it maybe for the year. It totally depends on just where it all stands, kind of deal.
Yeah.
Yeah, buddy. Yeah, because once I'm in school, granted I'll be a civvy, but I'll still mostly be on campus, you know, because we only got 1 car between me and my fiance, so
yeah,
she'll be using it like to go to works, and it's not really viable to just come grab me every day.
Real.
But yeah, that's how it goes.
What are some other, besides either donating to S8 or buying jerky? I mean, we have the staff shops, media creation.
Yeah, if you want to feel really involved in the unit, join a staff shop. Is the easiest way to go from the difference between a PFC who isn't in a staff shop versus is in a staff shop is like night and day. Because there isn't an expectation of you. Now, some people argue that maybe like that's weird or unfair, but I mean, there's a reason why it's a choice. We don't force. The only people who are forced to take up a staff position is NCOs, and that's because you're there to be a leader, and that's because you accepted the challenge to, you know, set the example and to assist somewhere in the unit. Now, usually it's of your choosing. If you don't do anything, you just get fucking removed from the staff shop and posted somewhere else. And then Ace spanks your booty because that's his whole job. Gay.
Come after shitbags.
Shitbags.
Yeah, especially River. That River guy. He's like, oh, I retire. We'll say that in chat. But he's a liberal. Absolutely readable. Next.
What?
Huh?
What?
Readable?
Ace, get your mind out of the gutter.
Yeah, you nasty. Anyway.
Oh.
What else you got, Dubs? Come on. Give us some beans.
Are there any standout contributions from members that have significantly impacted the unit?
Tasty. Right out the gate.
Yeah.
That dude has been here almost a year now, I think. I need to check before I make that statement. Let me see real quick. Yeah, because he joined... Oh, yeah, a year plus. He joined March 19th of 2023. You want to talk about a dude who joined the unit and just was like, yeah, give me all your documents and I'll make them uniform. And like fixed like 22, 23 like different documents and made them streamline, grammatize them, and you know, all that shit. Yeah. And then on that, he's in S4. He does all the S4 work. He does the paperwork. He's currently looking for a new method for ribbon tracking, so it's easier for everyone to track, you know, ribbons, when, who, and where they earn them, shit like that. Yeah, it's nutter butter when it comes to Tasty's contributions to the unit. I mean, he's actually the one person I think he is the only person in the unit to have achieved NCO without having to go
Meritorious.
through a board. Like, that's how good he is. He's so good. He didn't, you know, he didn't go through a board. He didn't go through any of the training. Like, granted, he did some quals and trainings on his own time because he wanted to be a lance corporal. But like, there's a point where like after a year, you don't really need a board.
Yeah,
You know, to
after
figure
your
out his
excellent
character.
service, I mean, yeah.
Yeah. For a Milsim, like a year may as well be like 4 years. You know,
Yeah.
like in Milsim speak, because that's how, you know, 3 months is like a year, 6 months is like 2 years, and so on. But oh goodness, yeah, that's someone to definitely look up to in terms of just slowly over time in their genuine contributions to the unit. Now, obviously, this isn't me trying to undershadow anyone else who has gone through the pipeline and, excuse me, know what they wanted to do, because all of those people are like excellent as well. It's just most recent what came to my mind first. I gotta answer the door. I'll be right back.
What was the question again? I mean, I don't know what the guideline was, but
Are there any
okay.
standout contributions from members that have significantly impacted the unit?
I'm thinking. I guess Castle with the website, even though it's gone now. I mean, it was a pretty big thing when it did come out, though.
Yeah, that's true. Man's designed a whole ass website. White soccer.
Sorry, I just
Yeah, it's like Tasty's been is a really good example. Castle. Kind of more recently, like Keeper and River.
That's
They've
true.
only they've
Very
only
true.
been in the unit for a few months, and they're both in leadership. They are Rivers taken S4 by the balls and fucking made it his bitch. Keeper's doing great with like helping me with the Corpsman admin shit, especially with like my work schedule and stuff.
Right.
So,
Even
yeah,
though she forgot you're an E8.
Yep. She will never live that down.
Soccer, you got.
could you repeat the question? I just got back. I was rotating laundry.
Are there any standout contributions from members that have significantly impacted the unit?
A lot of them have been said. I don't know if anybody has said it, but Anderson, he has done a hell of a job on the
his,
custom
customs
retextures and stuff for
retextures,
everybody.
yeah.
I'm so glad that we got somebody like in-house to do it, because before there was just issues with, well, we wanted this to be retextured and we got this. Well, we got retextured. What we wanted to get retextured never made it to us. And there were some issues with that, which caused an issue, like caused server issues for S3. But Anderson has done a fantastic job with the retextures. I think I heard somebody say Tasty. He's a fucking S4 guru.
Dude, him and XL, man.
Yeah, I don't know how he does it. But yeah, he very good with XL. Jawbrew recently. He's been working on some stuff for changing recoil and getting ammo types to be compatible with others. So expect that to come soon.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Yeah, I just met with him yesterday about it. Looks pretty good from what I saw. Just got to get a time where me, him, and Cyber can sit down and get it signed off.
You know, there's one person I'm gonna be keeping my eye on, because like Bison, he like so when I became a corpsman, I made a little cheat sheet myself just to help me remember shit. And he took that and redesigned it and updated it immensely, and so yeah, I'm like he's like another little tasty in the making. Like he did that without me even asking him to.
I have to say, wait,
That's awesome. That's awesome to hear. Oh, let's see. Not to stroke his ego any more than it already is, but honestly, Riptide. Took Tuma when it was pretty much on the verge of kind of being decommissioned, and was like, nah, let me fix it. And I mean, very quickly and efficiently changed it and molded it and turned it into, pretty much laid the groundwork for what Tuma is today. Like, if Riptide, I think that if Riptide never took over Tuma when he had to, or when he did, we wouldn't have one, to be honest. What about you, Riptide? Standout contributions.
Sorry, I just sat back down. I was doing some stuff in my house. Standout contributions for what was it?
Are there any standout contributions from members that have significantly impacted the unit? Couple of us said Castle, Tasty for their S4 stuff, Anderson with his RHS knowledge and retexturing and custom designs for, you know, the people that get their custom stuff. White said Bison to fix it, you know, for fixing like the cheat sheet that the corpsmen have. And then I said you for when he took over Tuma when it was on the verge of being like decommissioned or closed.
Dubs was just trying to suck up.
I did lead off with not to stroke his ego any more than it already is.
No, I appreciate that. I'm very humble and honored to have played the part I did, and it was definitely not a just me. Had a great leadership team. Definitely hats off to you, Dubs, for your assistance with that, because you joined the unit just not even maybe a month after I joined, and we both rose through the ranks and put the time and effort into Tuma, and that's something both of us can claim. The only other one I want to give a shout out to is Yogi for getting communications to where it was, because back when I was just getting into being a pilot and learning the comm side of things, it was pretty rough. I don't think the ground guys, and it's no fault of their own because it wasn't something they needed to know, I don't think they knew what all we could do in terms of munition dropping, tracking targets, and how effective we could be. So they kind of just radioed us if they were getting pinned down by big bad tank or something like that, and it's like, hey, can you find this thing shooting at us and blow it up? If they could throw smoke and identify it, you know, they could, or they would, and then we would, you know, drop our bombs based on that. And then Yogi came in and just completely revamped the communication side, streamlined it for everybody, turned S6 into a phenomenal asset to the team. He pioneered the JTACs, which if you don't know what those are just a middleman between ground and Tuma. It's their job to know what's in the air, what it has, what it can do, and to pretty much be the translator of, okay, ground is saying this, I could task this asset with this to take it out, quickly and efficiently, and there it is. So it was a real pleasure working with him and getting the synergy down between ground, JTACs, and Tuma.
Very, very cool indeed. Let's move on to the next one. Can you share any particularly innovative or unique missions that your unit has executed?
Fucking Wake.
Yeah, Wake is
I have
Wake's
never
definitely...
done Repelling Borders op in my 4 or 5 years playing Arma.
Damn, really?
Yeah, I mean we've done defense missions, but it wasn't
Like
anything
a
on
full-on.
that.
It wasn't like
Yeah,
a full-on
like it-
repelling borders.
Mm-hmm.
I think that before Wake Island, I think we only really had 2 true repelling borders missions. There was one on Namph, which I think was like probably like the second or third op on Namph, ended up being a repelling borders. And then the other one, it was on Fapovo. We had a repelling borders mission on Fapovo. So I think honestly those are the only 2 other repelling borders missions that immediately come to mind since I've been here. Maybe Cap can confirm that when he gets back. As far as innovative or unique missions, I would say the particularly on unique, I think would be the Alamo mission. You had a squad you had X amount of people. What was it? Was it like a squad's worth of people that were stuck, or was it a team?
Something like that.
It was like 7 or 8 people.
So like probably like 2 teams. But just like that mission where you had 2 truly split groups of the unit. Like not even considering like, if on an op night we're operating with 2 squads and one squad is off doing their own thing and another one is off doing their own thing. They're still within the same relative AO, but the Alamo mission was like you had for all intents and purposes, you had a squad that was stuck under attack and had to hold out until the main body of the unit could get to them. And then you had the other side of the unit that were infilled however far away, and they had to push through however many objectives to get to what is now known as the Alamo. I think that was unique in the sense that there was truly 2 groups of people of the unit operating independently from each other. One was defending themselves so that the main body could get there, and then you had the main body that was assaulting to get to those people that were trapped. I think that's pretty. I think that was pretty unique.
Something I want to throw out there too is some missions might be like a standard armor mission, but I think the Zeus team does a really good job of creating unique scenarios within those missions that may seem like the mission might seem just like a generic go take these 4 objectives, but within that area you'll have interactions with the Zeus team that makes the mission unique. On paper, it might not look it, but in op, there are scenarios that you won't find in a lot of units that you go to.
Yeah, like the card deck that in the last campaign.
Oh yeah.
I'm back.
Or when the Zeus team, when there was enough Zeuses to go around, that they started role playing, adding in role play. Was, I think, pretty innovative and out of the norm than what we were used to.
Role playing's really easy when. What I've learned, role playing is really easy when it's coin, because you're expecting to talk to like civilians and stuff like that, and deal with certain scenarios or situations based on that. It'll be a little more difficult now that we're in like full scale war, because it's like there might be, it's one of those once in a blue moon, like once in a month there'll be a role play scenario where you got to question or interrogate somebody or information. I do think the remedy to it that we found as Zeus's is going to be allies. So like whether it's the Brits or the Japanese, whoever that y'all come across as it comes along.
Cap, the question was, can you share any particularly innovative or unique missions that your unit has executed?
Wake.
That's 2 for Wake.
Yeah, Wake Island.
I said the Alamo mission.
Yeah, the Alamo. That was. I mean, we made a whole video. Link. Go to YouTube.
It's on the YouTube.
Battle Lithium. That's what that's based off of. The last op of Popovo. Dude, I don't know how we did it back then, but somehow we literally, the last op of Popovo was 4.5 hours, 4 to 4.5 hours, and I remember counting because I actually counted it out. And we were so much smaller back then, but we had killed like 600. We had killed like 600 AI in that 4 hours because it was just non-stop combat. So that was probably one of the more in-depth ones.
Question was brought up, Cap. Because soccer was talking about the repelling borders. I think, and correct me if I'm wrong or confirm, I think before Wake Island, we've only had like 2 true repelling borders missions.
They happen all the time back on Fopovo.
Oh, they did? Okay, then from my time at least, there was 2.
It was
one
probably
on
like
there was one on Fopovo, and then there was one in Namp. That I remember.
It was like every other week or so that like either jets or landing craft would hit the airfield. And it wasn't until we had secured the northern sector that those would stop. or we would be at an OP and the OP would get attacked, kind of deal.
Gotcha. Okay. So yeah, soccer. In my time, there's been 2, other than other than Wake.
Let's get one more question for Riptide before he has to bow out.
Let's
Or
see.
actually, Rip, do you have any questions?
No, not at this point.
He knows the inner workings of the unit too well.
Yeah. I mean, I still peruse through the chat channels of the 13th, and it's just been a lot of fun to see it thrive still and see all these changes. And yeah, it's been really cool.
Let's see. So, go back into y'all's deep memory banks.
Uh-huh.
Thinking
2 days ago.
thinking about
Jesus.
thinking about your guys' most memorable moments. How have those moments captured the essence of what makes the 13th so special?
So one that jumps out in my mind for sure, and I think just the fact that we did something like this, we thought of it, we put the planning into it, and the work and the training sets us apart from a lot of the other Milsims out there, because that's all it is. You know, it's just a Milsim unit. You hop on, you do what you need to do, you do what's required of you, you know, whatever, and that's it. You get off. We're a lot more close-knit than that. It goes beyond just hopping on and playing the game. Like, I've got a lot of real-life friendships that I made in this unit, and during one of the award ceremonies, it was the anniversary of one of our members passing away. I don't remember who it was. One of the
Oddman.
leaders where somebody had, yeah, well, I remember him. Sorry, I meant one of the leaders had an idea to do a missing man formation.
Oh, yeah.
If you're not familiar with that, something that the Air Force does to commemorate and remember the loss of a fallen friend, fellow warrior, all that good stuff. And so Tumot just jumped at the idea. Like, I put it out in the chat like, hey, Dubs and I want to do this. Obviously, we've got 2 of the 4 pilots needed, but we need, 2 others. And we got Yogi involved, I think, even with some communications. Maybe we didn't. I can't remember. It's all right. I've drank since then. Anyway, we practiced what, Dubs, like
A week.
3 or 4 days, a week even,
straight.
and it was like 2 to 3 hours each night to get the timing right, because Arma, you obviously can't do formation flying easily. It's an extremely tricky thing to do, and then to get the timing right of when the missing man formation actually broke off, when the pilot who's doing that breaks off, it's obviously the pinnacle moment. So we honed that in a lot, and everyone on the ground just sang our praises and said, what an awesome sight it was, what an honor it was to commemorate Oddman that way, and we really did a great job. And I was like, guys, that's not why we did it just to honor him. And like, I didn't even know the guy, but getting into this unit, getting to where I was, and talking to these guys like that, he was a friend of a lot of folks in here, and that just through osmosis transferred over to Dubs and I. It's like we want to do this. I mean, it's real. So the fact that we all felt that was appropriate, I think is just a real cool testament to the bond we have in this unit.
took the words right out of my mouth. That's what I was gonna go for. Adding on to that, let's not forget the fact that soccer was a part of that formation and he wasn't fixed wing qualled and was relatively new to fixed wing flying in Arma, and he jumped on the idea and fucking nailed it. Like, talk about a guy who's so gung-ho about something. He's like, I want to do this. I'm like, okay, cool. It's like he pulled me aside one day. He's like, I don't give a shit if I'm not fixed wing qualled. I want to be in it. I was like, okay, cool, you're in it.
Yeah.
Like, it just goes to show like how profound of an impact Oddman had on the unit, especially going beyond that to people who had never met him, never interacted with him, never spoke with him. Like, all 4 of the people on that flight didn't know who he was. So it's a true testament to the lasting impact that he has.
Literally created Tuma, which is like, it's such an amazing thing, and always at the same time it's so depressing. It's so, because I think about it, not all the time, but I think about it every now and then of like, oh man, what would he think? Like, because he was always super gung-ho and moto about the unit and its growth, and I think he would now just be like, I just can't believe how far it's come to the growth, the degree, and the trainings and the SOPs and all that. And it's just like, I guess it's surreal because we're shaping into the unit that Oddman had really helped guide us into. Now, did a lot of things change, since his time and like with his words and stuff? Yeah, of course, because that's the needs of the unit in Milsim. But oh man, I think you guys are doing right by him. Between Riptide, when you were me and CO, and now Dubs as CO, and Sakura as EXO, you guys are doing a fantastic job within Tuma, and I think Oddman would be proud.
Hell yeah.
100%. I knew I was leaving it in perfect hands, and I was right.
I think too. I'm big also. So 2 final things, because I think we can probably wrap it up here, especially with Riptide heading out in a few minutes. There are 3 new ribbons coming out to the unit. So for anyone who's watching, either now or later, there's the air to ship destruction ribbon. So basically for Tuma to get 3 kills on enemy warships. Specifically frigate class and up, not counting ribs and things like that.
Damn.
There's the island hopper ribbon, which is kind of like the upgrade to the amphibious accommodation ribbon, which is essentially you need to attack and successfully take 3 separate islands with 3 separate ops. So you'll get the island hopper ribbon. And the final one, which has not been posted but is being worked on, is the ceremonial guard ribbon, which is at any point in the unit's time, if you have done missing man, 21 guns, been a part of the parading party for like very somber, very serious official unit things, which we do very, very seldomly, and hopefully only ever once a year. But yeah, those are the current 3 ribbon updates coming out for the unit. Um, and obviously, if you've done one in the past, you'll get it. But with that being said, I think it's time before Riptide leaves to go to the wheel.
Yeah, we gotta spin the wheel.
The Wheel of Fortune.
A
thought it was
wheel
a little
of
Pokemon
crayons. Omoe, you shitbag, how about you join the unit?
Damn.
Yeah, get him.
Yeah.
All right, let's get some predictions. Let's start with Riptide. Let's get a prediction out of you.
How many people we got on the wheel?
Name a name, brother.
53.
I gotta. Predictions are just one name. Hang on, let me go to the.
He's like, I need a list.
Yeah, but hang on, I'm looking. Shut up. Hide.
Okay.
Okay. Hyde. Ace prediction.
Let's go Alpaca.
Alpaca. All right. We're gonna give him another shot.
Shitbag.
White. Let's get a prediction out of you.
You know what? Let's go with whiskey.
I knew you were
Whiskey.
gonna fucking say that.
Okay.
I knew you were gonna say whiskey.
Soccer. Let's get a prediction out of you.
Can you hear me? Hello?
Got you, Bubba.
Yeah.
You're here. 5x5.
Say it. Speak, monk.
I'm feeling lemon.
Lemon. All right.
Ew.
I am gonna go. I'm gonna generalize it. I'm gonna say one of our SNCOs. So Karsten or Yogi.
I'm gonna pick two as well then. I'm gonna pick Cunningham or Knapp.
Cunningham or Knapp. All right. Are we ready to spin the wheel?
Spin that bean.
Yeah, sure, you all get two predictions.
Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Let's go, Karsten.
Damn. You rigged.
Rigged. It's rigged.
It's rigged.
It's rigged.
Rigged.
All right, where's 13th chat?
He picked two names. It's still not that cool.
No. All right, let me put it in 13th. If I knew how to spell.
A B C D E F G H I J K L M N O P. Should know your ABCs.
Keyword should. All right, let's spin for the backup, shall we?
Yep.
Spin that wheel.
wheel.
And Tomo.
Homo.
As
Money.
alternate.
Yo, demote him.
Tomo. You.
No. Oh.
We need to change the name of the podcast to Demoted.
No.
Article 15.
Yeah. Spread your articles.
All right, so we have our primary and alternate. So, with that being said, final thoughts and comments. Riptide, did you
Recruit
enjoy
more
your
grunts.
time? Put her in there, yeah.
I did. Absolutely loved it.
Hell yeah. Thanks for coming out. Glad to.
I truly appreciate
Glad to see you. Glad to
coming
see
out
you
here.
come out of the woodworks for a little while.
Come hang out with the boys again. You haven't seen
Yeah,
this
no.
chat in a few months, you know?
Yeah.
Okay.
Been a
Boardroom.
few. I think it's time I get back in and do some assistance using. Maybe play for the enemy. So see what
Shit.
Whoa,
what y'all
hell no.
crazy ops here. So
Wait a minute.
Yeah, fight dubs in the air.
When
That'd
we
be
said come back, we didn't mean come back as the enemy.
I might target Eternal a few times. You know, just whatever.
No. Riptide, if you come back in Zeus compatibility or whatever,
Capacity. Yeah.
yeah, and my Corman suffered because of it, I'm not gonna like you even more than I hate you now.
Oh jeez.
That's fine. Don't make any promises to the likes of you.
I don't know
I,
what
st- I
accent
still, I
was,
still
but
say
that's
you are the
fine.
cause of the Corbin curse.
You can say that all you want. Not my fault. They're stinky.
Damn.
Oh shit! But he has a point.
Corman Stinky confirmed. All right. Anybody else? Other final comments?
Nuh-uh.
We're good to go.
All right. Well, I've got nothing else. Chat, whoever tuned in, thanks for hanging out with us for a while. As always, we'll see you this weekend.
Like, comment, subscribe.
Yeah.
Cream team.
All right, everyone. Thanks for your time, and we will see you out there.
Take it easy.